Brazil. Now it's going to... All right. Ladies and gentlemen, well, welcome you here today to Abu Dhabi for next round of XRL's Formula 1 X3 Championship. We're currently under the qualifying scenario as the teams are doing the last minute adjustments before they get out onto the track. Today, I'm being joined in the lobby with XRL Zombie.
Hello.
And it looks like one of the pink Racing Point Force Indias, the one of XRL Osmo, is now on its way out at number 14. So we should be looking to start seeing laps set real shortly here as they come out of the tunnel and merge onto the track here in the middle of the S's.
Oh, this will be fun. Alan's really quick too. I reckon he'll set a really good lap.
The number 69 Ferrari of GK Phantom is also out as well. Ferrari hoping to rebound from a very disastrous run last week at Brazil. Also, the fastest cargo 898 also seems to be in there out lapping that 96 Haas machine. So it looks like everyone's now struggling to get out, and I shouldn't say struggling, but scrambling to get out. Yas Marina is a little bit more technical and more spread out of the track than Brazil was, so there's probably a higher likelihood that drivers will be able to get into a little bit more clean air, set more accurate lap times compared to what we saw at Brazil, where we didn't really see true top-tier lap times until the last round of qualifying. We could probably see some really good runs as early as Q2 here, as it looks like about half or so of all the drivers are finally out onto the track now.
Yeah, and we have the Drivers' Champion between XRL Ram and XRL Snake. I think Snake has to score at least 10 points for the championship to carry over to next week. So
as of now, XRL Snake is still in the pit lane. He's not gotten out of the car yet. However, when it comes to Rim, is on the outlap in the number 35. There is a yellow flag in Sector 1 right now. I'll try and...
I reckon that's somebody probably moving out the way. Okay. Go see who it was. I'll hold a bit better. Asmo's in his lap at the minute. It looks like he's going to be the first across.
Number 14, BWT, Force India, has completed 0 laps thus far, so there must have been something that invalidated that initial outlap. Very, very Tilk-esque circuit, very big when it comes to technical sections with long, massive straightaways flowing into them, as the other car, Williams, Force India of XRL Rim slides off for a moment. Yeah, for some reason I'm always swapping up Racing Point and Williams, and I don't know why.
Is that right?
I do that with several others also. I've been watching watching Formula 1 like real strongly since 2017, and I still do it, and it's honestly frustrating. But XRL Osmo is now going to go to the top of the time boards, 136.473, and immediately dethroned by GK Phantom with a 136.022, as Osmo has pulled off and run very wide there just after turn 1, so yellow flags in almost every sector right now. The extreme technicality of the circuit seems to be hurting a lot of drivers and their ability to actually get good times on. But right now, it's a Ferrari of GK Phantom who sits on top of the leaderboards. Much better standing than what we saw last week at Brazil for them.
Ferrari though. The late just come, yeah, it looks like a late's just about to come across. It doesn't look like an actual. Yeah, he's invalidated that lap.
So it looks like the struggle thus far is just getting a clean legal lap set. So many laps seem to be invalidated. Drivers have been out here on the track for a while, but it seems like they're just having trouble putting down one actual good lap time thus far. I imagine that will sort itself out in a bit, but still, interesting frustration to be having here.
These corners can be pretty brutal on this map. I always got on map, not track. I find that you can cut a certain corner and then you go to cut it again. Again, it's like, no, here, penalty, have it. Ooh, XRL first. 135.5.
I know, here comes the Sauber coming out now, and that's XRL J-Lab. He's coming out into the circuit, merging into the S's. No one directly behind him. There is another Sauber, I believe, a little bit ahead of him, going through the hairpin right before the first long back straight. But I don't think he's close enough to be influenced to that. Yes, that is his teammate in the other Sauber. That would be XRL Whippy. So both Whippy and J-Lab doing a run down the straight here, and they also are going to have to get by one of the Force Indias, and that is XRL Rim, who's pulled over on the backstretch to let both of them go. XRL Rim currently on top of the leaderboard time-wise with a 135.526. Thus far, the top 7 fastest lap times have all been set with soft compound tires.
Angel Labs out, happy to get away from that corner.
So right now, it's the 3 drivers who might be in the most trouble is, although there are a bunch of guys who have not set their laps yet, but Fratters seems to be struggling, has not yet hit anything lower than 138. Same with Blastic and Enough Classic. And once again, I believe one of the Force Indias have pulled over on the circuit. Well, no, XRL Rim is back going, but Rim had pulled over off the track for a brief moment in the 3rd sector, about 5 corners before the end. He's going now, and will go ahead, and I believe we'll see him merge onto the pit lane. Yes, he does. So the track's now starting to empty out. Everyone's going ahead real quickly, making their final runs, and Retroxity seems to have dropped out.
Yeah, he's been it from the looks of it. And sector 3. That's not good.
So here's the question I have. He set a lap time of 137.444. Would he be allowed to continue into Q2 if they can get that car repaired, or is it no? You trashed the car, you're done for qualifier, and you're locked into the back of the field.
I think the way it works is if I'm sure if you I think it's if you DNF, you'll get put to the back of the grid, or it's either that or if you get put to the back of the grid and get qualified.
So another rough start for Retro, crashing out here in Q1. It looks like they'll be more likely going to the back of the grid and not being allowed to run in Q2 or Q3. We still have 4 drivers who have not officially set a time yet. Now, Enough Classic has set another time with a 138.194, as so has Blastic, but both of them and Fratters. So here we are. More drivers have all started setting their laps. And now we're just down to Gazilio and Boothie when it comes to drivers who have yet to set their lap. And both Gazilio and Boothie are on track and should be able to complete their laps sooner rather than later, I'd hope.
Some drivers going to set a lap and then try and set another one to see if they can get quicker. So it's kind of hard to just on try to keep on top of it. There's just that many drivers out.
I imagine once... Yeah, you bring up perfect points. There's so many drivers out. Even now when we have about half the field in the pits, there's still enough cars clustered together that just kind of makes it a pain in the rear to make anything happen. As you see, Gazilio actually has to pull off in the chicane between the 2 long straights just to get some clean air.
Yeah, he was just.
And
about
XRL
to his
Rim
lap.
has
Retired.
XRL
He
Rim
retired
seems
in
to
the
have
pits.
retired, so seems to be very confident with their 135.526. Now Elite, I'm gonna guess it's supposed to be Heineken.
Hackenen.
Oh, okay. Oh, I should have recognized that. All right. Elite Hakkinen has gone ahead, and he's within 3/10 of Rim, so I don't know if Rim is in the right mindset to be, that confident thus far, but we'll see if anything can happen. Of big note thus far is that with the exception of Boothy 116 and Retro, who has dropped out, everyone who has set lap times are on the red soft tires. So unlike what we saw at Brazil, when we saw a lot of people gambling with mediums in qualifying, seems like everyone's very high committed to those red soft walls. But Elite's actually been out in those reds for about 4 laps.
There's only Buffy on mediums.
Yeah, Boothy seems to be the only one on the mediums right now, and whoo, that Red Bull got a little bit sideways coming off of the rumble strips there, going through Sector 3. It's about 2 more corners left in this lap. Boothy and Gazillia are the only 2 drivers who have yet to set a time, and there's 6.5 minutes left. A lap time here is about 1:38, and there we are. Boothy has set a lap time, and it is a 1:37.146. That's enough to put him in 14th on the board. So now the question is, where will Gazilio show up? Can Gazilio knock In-City Rudist out of the top 15?
GK Phantom said her sitting P2 for now could find another second still. Thing is, for most drivers, they'll set a lap time and they'll be like, oh, I can shave another second off that. And they'll try really hard to make sure they can do it.
And a big benefit of running these 3 different qualifying sessions is that if you know you're one of the better drivers in one of the better cars, you can jump in and set as many practice runs as you want in Q1. Just try and shave off, make those real small adjustments, see what you have to do once you get to Q2 and Q3, where the real money starts being made. So everyone has now set lap times, and Gazilio not only qualified, he qualified right into the top 5 right away with a 135.954. So we have 4 drivers who have set lap times less than 136. No one has broke the 135.5 barrier yet. XRL Rim came the closest, but still 26 thousandths off from breaking that barrier.
Oh, Rats Cats has managed to get up in the second. That pushes Elite for second to third, and GK Phantom to 5th. And Gazilio
Boothy on those medium compounds is improving his lap times. He's back up to 16th. Oh, and I believe I saw one of the Red Bulls sideways there. I did not see which one it was. I'm trying to flip through real quickly to see.
Yeah, actually no. There's 2 Red Bulls in front of each other. There's Rudist and Buffy. I'm not entirely sure what one just went off track then.
I think it might have been Boothy who went sideways, just being a little bit too aggressive. Boothy's back underway, seems to be a little bit slower, so I'm going to guess it was probably Boothy who got a little bit sideways, a little bit too aggressive, trying to set fast times in these final waning minutes of Q1 here.
Let's see what cars moving over. That was fast Ricardo.
And Fratters continues to be struggling in that Toro Rosso, went a little bit off circuit, coming right out of the technical section in turn 3. It's back underway now. Only has about 3 minutes and 18 seconds left. I'm curious to see if he'll stay out, because he's on those red soft tires, so he's not going to get a whole... I think for everyone here from about 15th on back, it's going to get really, really, really tight right now. The gap right now between Stumpy Steam in 15th and Boothy 116 in 16th is only about 11 hundredths. And then you have Fratters, who's about another second out. Blastic, who's about another second and a tenth out. And then you have Classic, who's about the same distance out. So I think right now the real thing is going to be between Stumpy and Boothie, as Stumpy actually pulls off on the first long back straightaway to enable other cars to get through. 2 minutes and 34 seconds left in this qualifier right now.
Jazili to 5th and 6th because ES Fiend has 135.8 and suffered 4th.
So it seems like the numbers at the top of the field are all clustering around the 135.8 mark.
Oh! Cargo's just been doing. I've just watched Cargo get me.
Did not catch that on our screen. Oh, I saw that Haas absolutely destroyed, though, for a brief second, just a little bit into the entrance of Sector 3. So the entire front suspension completely ruined. So Cargo and Retro has both have massive incidents that have ended their run here. So now the thing is, can Boothie do anything to overtake Cargo? Cargo can't do anything to better his time. I'm curious to see here what Boothie can do. We have 1 minute 24 seconds left. I think he's going to only have time for one more lap, actually.
I think GK
and GK Phantom's on another out lap.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to set another lap. The only problem is, obviously, if you use the same tyres, I'm pretty sure if you get knocked out of Q1, your tyres end up carrying over to the rest or something. If you're in Q2 and 3, it all depends on how much you use your tyres. I never get past Q1, so I don't know.
So I am curious, though, in the case of Boothie, who is on the medium compounds, and it's not looking very likely he's going to be able to get out of Q1. So if you're in that position where you're starting on a harder compound than the rest of the field, what do you base your strategy off of for the race?
Probably, I would say most would probably go with soft compounds for the race due to because of the heat of the track. It absolutely eats the soft tyres. The mediums only go for about 11 laps at the most. The hards also aren't too great to use on you.
Well, this time is up. The time is up in the session. Now it's just a matter of everyone who's on track finishing the lap. GK Phantom trying to crack back into the top 5. And again, I look at Boothie, who has now actually fallen to 17th. I really don't think he's going to be able to make it into Q2. It looks like just going with the mediums in general has been a really, really poor idea. Oh, no, I'm wrong! Boothie proved me wrong!
Wow, we went up to the 13. I didn't see these men fly up them.
Excellent job from the number 69 Red Bull, jumping way up, and that means that Stumpy Steam, along with Blazestick and Fratters, will be knocked out. I believe Enough Classic will also be knocked out, and we know Retro, who binned his car, is not going to be going on. So, very, very solid job by Boothie making those medium compound tires work. He was out there for a while. He turned 6 laps on those tires, so I guess maybe he was betting on getting into a nice flow, a nice rhythm, instead of trying to come out, instead of really hardcore fast lap, then jumping in and coming out, sending another hardcore fast lap coming in. It may have worked for him to at least carry him into Q2, and hopefully he might be able to make some magic happen and come into Q1. I love seeing it when people make it into Q1 using alternate strategies, so it's going to be interesting, as right now there's only about 3 more cars left on track. I'm trying to see. Fratter seems to have stopped for some reason on the back straight. I'm not 100% sure why. Oh, his suspension's damaged. So Fratters has actually damaged the right front the right front tire. It's knocked into the car. Now, he's not officially DNF'd yet, but he's not going to be able to come around and finish the lap.
Yeah, he hasn't got a tire on. Okay. Oh, there we go. Ferraris. He was just getting stuck there and his tires just hanging off. Evening, John-O-Matic.
So as it is right now, we now know how the bottom of the field is going to look. Fratters and the Toro Rosso will round out the back end. Neither of the McLarens make it into Q2, so very, very difficult for them. Toro Rosso also is not going to make it out of Q3 whatsoever, as enough Classic and the McLarens all end up with the bottom four. The Ferrari Stumpy Steam is going to start 16th, and Fastest Cargo in the Haas will be 15th. So it looks like we'll be looking at 14 drivers, I think, going into qualifying 2. So a lot of instance here. I think a big element is that this is a very technical circuit. It reminds me a little bit of the street circuits from like the 2000s or so, where they're just plopped into the middle of a city and you have all these really tight 90-degree or nearly 90-degree corners. And it's not like, well, I can just heap a bunch of downforce to get through them. And it's not, you have to find that really, really good balance of mechanical grip and the application of the torque in these cars to make it to where you're not out of control through them. I think more than anything else, the extreme technicality of the circuit has been catching out a lot of these drivers. So 14 cars now going to take the track here for Q2 in a 15-minute session, and our first driver is already coming out. And that's XX Allen, who is already out. Well, almost already out, as he will begin merging onto the S's now. Asmo is out onto the circuit also, trying to see if he can go back to the top of the time boards here. Everyone's nice and spread out this time around, so I imagine it will be a little bit easier, assuming people aren't making a lot of mistakes. It will be a little bit easier for everyone to set nice, clean lap times early on. As we see XRL Asmo go through the chicane between the two straights. Zombie, are you still with us? So we may be having a slight technical issue here in the booth. We will try and see if we can address that. But anyways, XRL Asmo continues to circle the track. So again, I'm interested to see what he can do in particular. Massive 3/10 gap between him and second at the end of Q1. And so confident that he retired nice and early also. There is a yellow flag in Sector 1. I'm not 100% sure what the reason for it would be. TK Phantom is now out on the circuit as well. Alright, hopefully that'll be the end of our technical issues here, folks, as we watch DK Phantom and the remaining Ferrari continue to circle the track here onto that second long straightaway. No one's officially set a time yet. I imagine that will change soon. Watching Gazilio on his outlap as well. Didn't wait half the session to get one in. It looks like he's actually out there try and set as soon as possible. And now here comes XX Allen, who is the first one out of pit lane. And Allen goes to the top of the leaderboards with a 135.9 right off the bat. GK Phantom goes to second with a 136.6. Now gets knocked out by XRL Snake with a 136.047. So our first 3 lap times are up, and now we have our next one, Osmo, right up to the top of the boards with a 135.794. Wasn't as fast as what he set in Q1.
Oh, I had a child trying to escape.
It happens.
That's actually a better lap thing from Alan than it was in one.
And Allen's in on the medium compounds also, so I'll be interested to see if he can, if maybe that car is just better suited for the medium compound tires here than the softs. Also of note is XRL Rim has also gone ahead and swapped to the medium compounds as well. In-City Rudis now has a 137.787 lap time, but just about everyone else is within the 135 to 136 range, so In-City's going to have to figure out a way to take a lot of time off here in that Red Bull.
Zelio just put himself up in 5th.
Rots Cats has yet to officially put a time down. Running around, exiting the second sector, now entering the extreme technicality of Sector 3 here in the Renault machine. Oh, and I believe one of the... Yes, that is Osmo who actually pulled off just before going under the Rolex bridge? I guess you'd call it a bridge. So pulled off just a little before then. He's back underway, but that's going to probably be a voided lap for him, as Ratscats will have just completed, and Ratscats actually goes to the top. 135.711. I honestly don't know. I bet Asmo's silently kicking himself, because if he stayed where he was, it might have been able to hold up Ratscat's lap. Ooh. That Sauber's a little bit aggressive, though. It bounces over the curbs, coming out of the S's just a bit.
That seems to be the most common place for people to penetrate them curbs.
So for the first time, for a first time in the latter half of one of our qualifying sessions today, someone who is not XRL Asmo is on top. The gap is not very large. It's only about 0.08. So I think Asmo buckles down, gets his head in the game. He absolutely can. He might go back to the top. Both Salvers of XRL Whippy and XRL Jeb are now out trying to get their laps in. And Elite Hackenen is out there in his out lap as well. Only about 5 cars on the circuit right now.
Got it.
Riding on board with XRL Jeb here, as him and his teammate ahead of him, XRL Whippy, now begin to enter the second back straightaway. Go by the alternate pit lane here.
Yeah, Whippy's actually in front of him on the lap.
XRL Rim is heading back out. Looks like he's going to try and get another lap set sooner rather than later here. One second. Had a bit of buy-in. And Whippy is going to go up to 11th. Yeah, not a very good time there. And it looks like J-Lab didn't get a official lap in. So Whippy needs to improve. Watching Hakkinen and the Williams right now. As I'm Blake Till I Die is now on his outlap. There's only about 5 minutes, 39 seconds left in the section. So Blake needs to get out there, needs to set a lap fast. This is really, really late. We still have 3 drivers who have not set a good time yet, and who have not set a time at all. And Whippy is nearly 2 seconds off of the time needed to get in. It looks like this session, unless something massively changes, this session might be over before it's done. And Hakkinen goes right to the top. 135.566. So Hakkinen waits until the latter bits of the qualifier and then smashes Ratscats and Asmo. So Asmo is now going to fall off the top 2 as Hakkinen in the Rocket Williams goes to the top. And then there were 2. We're still waiting on I'm Blake Till I Die in the Haas and XRL J-Lab in the Sauber to try and make something happen here. Insane Rudis is on another outlap. He's going to try and better his time to get back into the top 10. XRL Rim, with those medium compound tires, has fallen to 11th now. He might want to consider getting out there. And yes, Rim is out there going to try and better his lap time.
Yeah, he just came off the mediums and gone on the softs.
Boothie is now going back out, going to try and improve his lap time. He's currently 9th. He's going to see if he can change anything. He's only about 0.05 of a second off of XR Whippy ahead of him, so it is very much within reason that he could improve his time here.
And Rim goes up to 5th.
Yep, so Rim improves his time. And this means that Boothie is knocked down to 10th, and GK Phantom is now 11th, who's in the pit lane, so Phantom might want to get out there and start moving now if he wants to try and make it into Q1. We're still waiting to see about I'm Blake Till I Die. In that Haas number 6, that's the wild card right now. He's not set a actual lap time yet. And if Blake sets a good top 10 lap time, that would knock Boothie out of the top 10 and kick him potentially out of Q3. Coming around the final 2 corners shortly here.
That third section makes me feel like nervous.
Yeah, I detest the third sector here. It's way too hyper-technical for my liking. And Blake sets a time, but it's only 11th best with a 136.4, roughly 0.2 off of Boothie. So for the moment, Boothie is safe. We only have less than 2.5 minutes left right now in the session. And In-City Rudis is trying to get out there and make something happen as well. As is GK Phantom.
You just came out with the well. I don't know what both of them doing. Is it going to improve his lap time?
Only about 4 cars out on the circuit right now and they're all fighting for that 10th spot. Boothie trying to better his time, because right now it's only 2 tenths between himself and I'm Blake Till I Die for that 10th spot. So a mad scramble in the very back right now. It looks like the top 8, 9 or so, I'd say probably the top if I feel real confident, I'd say the top 7 are secure. Also, just quick point out, because I didn't notice this earlier, but XRL Snake is only 1/1000th of a second off of ES Fiend. 135.997 versus the 135.996. You don't see gaps that close very often.
We have Ultimate Go On Rem, Dramatic Rem is surely going to wrap it up this week. We'll see. Ultimate X1 and X2 wrapped up for now, X3 to get wrapped. Phantom said then on the next season and no game. Dramatic can't wait. Phantom just wish my 1 lap quality pass wasn't garbage. Probably explain why he's gone out on another lap. Dramatic, 1 lap isn't as important as race pace, and you've got more than enough for that for X3, which you don't need the complete pace for X3. As long as you're a clean driver and you can get round, you don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah. 10 seconds left, and the only 2 drivers out still is GK Phantom and Boothie. Boothie again trying to better his lap time. GK Phantom is about 3.5 tenths off, and Phantom actually gets a little sideways in the hairpin right before that first back straightaway. So Phantom's going to try and draw Boothie down to the wire here.
And this is going to be a very intense race as Rem's trying to wrap up the championship. So, see how this goes.
If memory serves correctly, Snake has to score 10 or more points to get ahead of Rim and the title going, not ahead of him, but still bring the title fight to the last race next week. Right?
Which is France, yep. Worst part of it is France is an all-wet race.
Oh, that will be very interesting indeed. Won't have to worry. Is that
qualifying
qualifying as well? Is qualifying also going to be in the wet?
Yeah, qualifying's in the wet, but I know Rem's got qualifying, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Ooh, Boothie up to 4th.
Boothie jumps up into 4th, so Phantom's going to have to make some real magic happen. Coming down the line, and Phantom, I saw the timer board move, but I did not see what it was, and Phantom goes up into 2nd. I'm getting word that Phantom jumped into 2nd. So both of the drivers who were on the bubble in the last moments went from being on the bubble to way up, and that means that XRL Whippy and XRL Jeb in the the Alfa Romeo cars are both going to get knocked out, as long as In-City Rudist in the Red Bull and the Haas of I'm Blake Till I Die, but it's Williams and Ferrari at front. We've not seen something like that since 2003.
I think it's actually Renault that's due to wrap up the Constructors' Championship with 333 points, I'm sure it said. And I think
I'll say this, I'm looking here, and there does seem to be a lot, there doesn't seem to be any dominant manufacturer. We had I shouldn't say manufacturer, no dominant team. We had 7 different teams in the top 7 spots, so this could go in basically any direction. I will say this, the Force India / Racing Points of XRL Asmo and XRL Rim do have a little bit of advantage. Both of them are still in here. They can still rely off of each other to get information. Same with the Williams of Desilio and Elite Hakkinen. But just about everyone else is on their own right now. And our first driver is now moving onto the circuit. I'm trying to see who that is. I think it's Alan. And Alan continues the habit of trying to be the first guy out onto the track.
There's quite a few cars coming out now. Well, it seems like every car is about a mile 2 at the moment. So we shall see what Alan says.
Alan, even if it's only going to be for a brief moment, will set the bench time for this. And they're not going to have a whole lot of time for this. A lap here is over 1.5 minutes long. By the time Alan crosses line, it's going to be about 9:45 or so, 9:35, somewhere around there. So they're not going to have a whole lot of laps to try and get a good time in. I won't lie, if I don't have too much to lose, I would consider getting on the mediums and just spending the entire session out there on the medium compounds to just try and get into a rhythm and get into a flow for the race itself. You're already locked into the top 10, and as long as nothing goes completely top side down in the first few corners, you might be in a good position in that case.
Ultimate says Alan for pole. I mean, I can see
Well, Alan
it.
will.
He's a really, really
I can
fast
see
driver.
it.
He's a really cool driver.
Well, Alan will come along and hold the provisional pole for at least a few seconds here because he was the first driver out. He's going to set the standard very shortly here. I imagine everyone else is still on their outlap as well. Outlaps, I do not believe, will count for time initially. And I believe Rim has yet to leave the pit lane, actually. I'm not 100% sure what the reason for that is.
I think he normally waits till the track's a little bit quieter.
Well, he's going to have to get out there sooner rather than later. We're already down to 9 minutes and 25 seconds. And it does appear that Rim is now on the move, going into the tunnel to get him out of pit lane. I've always found the tunnel exit for pit lane here to be very interesting. It's a really strange, unique feature of this circuit. Oh, wow! And the Red Bull of GK Phantom spun right in front of Rim. That wasn't Phantom. That was Boothie. It was Boothie who spun right in front of XRL Rim, right in front of him as they were coming out of pit lane. So Boothie pushed the car way too hard. He's back underway now, but that was an absolute mess. I imagine that Rim's heart went into his chest for a moment there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Wow! Meanwhile, XX Allen is not setting the lap. He's going to pull in. So Allen is going to pull in. He will not set the time yet. So no one has officially posted a time at the moment. And now XRL Snake goes to the top, 136.093. And now he gets beaten by ES Fiend. All right, and that's a massive jump. Rats Cats goes into third also. So right now the two Renaults are alongside each other. And now Osmo jumps into second, 135.778.
I think
we know that Osmo can put a better time. And the Rocket Williams, Gazilio is going to come down, and he is going to get right up against the inside wall, set 135.990. And I believe GK Phantom is going to be next, followed by XRL Rim right afterwards, but Rim is still on an outlap. So here comes GK Phantom. Phantom's going to go up.
He's invalidated.
No, he's not. Apparently, yep, the lap's been invalidated. So right now, 7 minutes left in the session. Only 5 drivers have set a time. So Allen was the first one out, but only turned a warm-up lap, and then on the actual lap that he would set time, he called it in and denied that lap. So he has yet to actually set the time.
I think we currently have Rem and Phantom on. I think Phantom's on another lap.
I'd imagine so.
I know if you've got all your stuff set high on the second lap, your DRS tends to be a bit lower. So DRS may hold Phantom back a bit.
I believe Asmo and Gazilio are still on the track waiting to see if they can overtake Yasmin. Well, Asmo just came in, so I'm curious to see if Gazilio will come in. No, Gazilio is going to stay out another lap. He seems to think that he can take off at least 2,200 here, and Gazilio is going to go up into second now. He will knock Asmo out of the second spot. But it's Mercedes engines 1, 2, 3 at the moment. So here comes DK Phantom and XRL Rim. Rim goes up into the 4th, and Phantom goes into 6th. And now Allen has completed his out lap. He is now on an actual time lap. Boothie has yet to set a time, and Elite Hakkinen also has yet to set a time. Boothie was really pushing the car hard and then had a nasty little spin. No damage to the car, he's backing away, but hopefully he doesn't let that get into his head too hard.
Yeah, looks like Buffy's came back on the roll up.
Now, everyone is on the soft tire compounds right now, so they will start on these same soft tires.
Ratscats is also coming back out of the pits.
Elite Hakkinen has yet to set a lap, and he's still in the pit lane with only 4 minutes and 40 seconds left. Allen is running through the 3rd sector right now. He's right in between the Ferrari of DK Phantom, and I believe that is Osmo who... No, that's Rem actually who's in front of him. Rem actually goes off circuit for a moment to enable them to get by, so Allen has a little bit cleaner track ahead of him now. Coming down, let's see if he can actually make anything happen, as I believe Osmo goes ahead and pulls over on the backstretch to enable one of the other Renaults to get going here.
Ooh,
so Allen,
Allen
right to the top, the fastest time we've seen all day, and by a massive amount, 1:34.7, and that means right now it's a Mercedes 1-2 lockout at the front.
That man is quick.
Now the pressure is on Boothie to try and set an actual time. Same with Elite Hakkinen. Neither of them have set times yet. I mean, granted, the worst that can happen is they'd start 9th and 10th, but I imagine in any case you always would want to start as close to the front as you can. It means that you're less likely to get caught up in any potential incidents on the start. As Boothie rounds the hairpin and enters the first long straightaway here. Elite Hakkinen's on his outlap. Yes, Fiend is on outlap also. He seems to think that he can better his time, but he'd have to better it by like a good, I'd say like 8/10 or more just to try and get to the top. I'm not really sure what the point of that is, unless he's afraid that Gazilio's going to end up overtaking him, but Gazilio's in the pits. I'm not 100% sure what Fiend's game is here, unless he must be feeling really confident if he thinks he can overtake Allen, as one of the Williams pulls over for a brief moment to allow Boothie through.
Automatic's very surprised by Allen's lap time.
Here comes Boothie, round the final corner, and he will hopefully set a time this time by.
Oh, he's validated again.
Nope,
oh,
it's
Buffy.
Invalidated. The time is
Buffy.
running out fast. He needs to make something happen and make it happen fast. It's 1 minute and 58 seconds left, so he has time for this lap and potentially one more. He needs to make one of them stick. Same thing with Elite Hakkinen. Hakkinen is in pretty much the exact same scenario, just a little bit farther back on the track compared to Boothie here.
We've got 3 people on an outlap, which is Jazilio, Rem, and Phantom.
And Asmo has overtaken ES Fiend for the 2nd spot, so it's still Mercedes engines at the front, but not going to be the Mercedes factory team starting 1-2, the way it's looking right now. ES Fiend is still out there and might still be able to make that time back. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe Fiend could see the future and realize that Osmo was going to kick him, so he got out there to preemptively try and better his lap. Currently
Not entirely
following
sure what happened with Buffy
Hakkinen.
then, but I think his DRS to be really, really light. I'm not entirely sure what Buffy was planning on doing then. Maybe he's gonna try and push for another lap after this.
We'll see. Here comes Hakkinen. Coming down to the last two corners. Will he be able to set a time? Coming out of the final corner. Here it comes, down the straight. Hakkinen jumps into third. It took him a long time, but Hakkinen goes into third with a 1:35.234. Boothie has not yet set a lap time yet. He's gonna have to put all his eggs on the basket here.
He's doing it now. You can see that you can see putting the pressure into that car to make sure he gets a lap time in.
And that might be a great idea if he wants to try and get a great time, but if he makes a mistake, that would be it. It would basically ruin his event. Allen has finished, Ratscats has finished, and Ratscats, along with XRL Snake and the Renaults, had a good initial start here in Q3, but just as it went on, every single Mercedes engine car has pushed them down. Mercedes has a complete lock on the top 6 spots at the moment. So unless Phantom or Boothie can make something happen.
Boothie's got to use his DRS, that's it.
It's open. It's open now.
Yeah, he didn't use his DRS in the first straight for some reason. Come on, Buffy.
The worst he can start the race is 10th, granted, but he should have more than that. He's put on some shockingly good shows in the first 2 qualifying sessions. I'd imagine he could at least get, I don't know, I think 8. Oh, he ran it! He bent it! He bent it!
Oh.
And with 1 minute and 59 seconds left, he bends it, and DK Phantom actually runs over some of the debris. So Boothie bent the car with just a few corners, just 2 corners left. He bent it in the third to last corner, was pushing too hard, and that's going to end it for him. The Red Bull is not going to be able to continue. Elite Hakkinen has gone ahead and jumped to the pits. And now ES Fiend is coming down. He just drove by the accident scene, and I think with that ruined car right there, I don't think Fiend's going to have a chance to really better that lap time. He's going to go ahead and rein it in.
I find that that's a very common corner for cars to bin it. Oh, Buffy's going to be so annoyed about that.
Indeed. Everyone has finished, and Boothie put on a good show in both Q1 and Q2, but in Q3, he let all the pressure build on him and the car until the last possible minute, and when it was just about over, when it was looking like he could make something happen, it gets away from him.
Oh. Dramatic is currently crying for Buffy.
I can't blame him one bit. I'm honestly heartbroken for him, and the entire Red Bull Racing team just very, very bad there. But the real big talking point, Mercedes engines locks out the top 6, but there doesn't seem to be any single dominant team. Mercedes factory team has a 1st and 4th. Racing Point has 2nd and 6th. Williams has 3rd and 5th. But outside of the gap between 1st and 2nd, which is about 4 tenths, everyone else is running within about 7 tenths of each other within the 35s. I think this is going to be a Mercedes engine slugfest at the front, if qualifying times is to be believed.
JK Fado just said needing to see after seeing Red Bull said it saves on the track. I think I'd feel the same. Saying that, I'd probably end up hitting the Red Bull because I don't have very quick reactions.
So Ferrari, the lone Ferrari that was still on the track, did end up running over some of the debris off the car, but I believe he was already fixed to come in and pit that lap, if memory serves correctly. So I don't think it influenced him very much. As we're now loading up into the race itself. So a very interesting qualifying session. I'm really interested to see if this turns into an interesting race. So first up,
this is our 5-minute break. So it is.
Yeah. So want to go ahead, Zombie? curious in your opinion, when we get into a race here at Abu Dhabi, very technical circuit, not very tight when it comes to wall proclivity to the circuit, but very tight when it comes to the radius of the corners, what do you believe is the best tire compound to start the event, and what do you believe the tire lineup should be over the course of the race?
Well, I find that most start on softs. They go soft, medium, medium compound. Some even dare and go for the hards. I know that some people are going medium, medium, soft instead, which the way I did it when I was doing my dev race yesterday is I went medium and then I actually went hard, which I found actually worked more better than the soft and medium medium and the medium soft, because the soft compound just wears out too quick on this track. It only lasts about 5-6 laps. And then you got the medium compound that only lasts at least 11 laps. And then there's the 8 and you have to change them again.
What I would be interested to try and make work, this is just me personally, if I was in the car, and I'm not, because I'm absolutely atrocious at this game in general. I'm a Forza guy. But what I would like to do myself is I'd like to get out there, start the race on mediums, because everyone else seems to want to run soft, and I'd love to just be out there and have the clean track when they're jumping in to try and change. Jump in, change into softs for a mid-stint to try and put off some fast laps when you're kind of by yourself-ish, and then jump back in and run mediums again for the rest of the event. That would be my opinion. I wouldn't want to run softs at the very end, not to continue dogging on, but I wouldn't want to put myself in a situation like Boothie has, where if your times haven't been that good, you're overcompensating and you're pressuring yourself super hard at the very end of the event.
Yeah, definitely. I honestly think the medium hards work really good because you can pull the hards till the end. I just find that once you get to about 20%, the braking starts becoming an issue. You have to brake a little bit earlier for corners than what you normally would.
Mm-hmm. A reminder that the brake bias in this game with all these cars are set much more to the front, so the entire weight of the car is basically thrown onto tires that will feel like they're locking up. It's a very interesting feeling when you are more typically used to a better balanced car or a car with more brake bias in the rear, which is... Brake bias in the rear is better set up, though, if you're going to be in a rain race, to be fair. So, we will see next week at France. So that will be a very interesting event. I'll be looking forward to it. I'm not a fan of the circuit, but I am a fan of rain in general. I do think that having rain is a really, really good way of trying to separate adaptable drivers from just drivers who are good in a good car.
I'm not very good in rain. I absolutely suck in the rain. I just tend to clip my car on the curb and then spin off.
Oof.
Yeah, it's not good.
Well, we are in the middle of a 5-minute break between qualifying and the race itself. Just pausing for a brief moment for series identification. This is the XRL X3 Championship right now. It's the second to last race of the season, as we have drivers trying to lock up the championship and drivers trying to end their season with a nice little punctuation mark or thumbs up or something, just so they can look back and say, yep, that was worth it.
We'll be doing our formation lap here in a minute.
Stand by as we're waiting to get underway here. 20 drivers across 10 teams will take to the circuit of Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi. one of the interesting parts about this circuit, not saying it will necessarily lead right to an accident because it is nice and really, really large runoff to avoid incidents, but the first corner here is a hard, tight 90-degree corner. It's very difficult to get, especially if you're starting on colder tires. You're basically slamming the throttle down to try and get not necessarily as far ahead of the competition, but trying to beat the competition into the best line possible in there, while also trying to avoid the other cars in front of you possibly making mistakes, as we're now lined up on the starting grid here.
They're currently doing their formation lap. No, I don't actually know if this is the first time they've actually done a formation lap. And as always, we have Alan first.
Absolutely impressive job by Alan to get to the top. Had a little bit of a struggle with the car, it seemed, in Q1, but as we went into Q2 and then finally Q3, it just got better and better and better in relation to the rest of the field.
You can also see that most of the field sat on soft tyres and only 3 people on mediums.
But one of the guys who are going to start on the mediums is our leader, XX Allen. He'll be joined with Gazilio, one of the other Mercedes engine cars, and then Fratters, who is going to be starting last in the Toro Rosso. So it's going to be interesting to see how the mediums turn out in relation to a field of softs.
I feel bad because them softs get ate way too quick.
We might see a whole lot of drivers just turn like 4 or 5 laps and immediately jump in. Would it be legal to run softs for the first like 5 laps and then jump onto hards for the rest of the event, or are you required to run mediums at some point?
Well, because the mediums run for at least 11 laps, some people dare and push them a little bit longer. You can run the hards for the rest of the laps. Surprisingly.
So basically, if I wanted to, I could
slower.
start on. So, but you don't have to make that extra stop. I'm wondering if maybe some of these guys, maybe farther in the back, might consider jumping in. They start on the softs, and if they don't get wrecked right off the bat, I wonder if they consider starting on the softs, running like 5-6 laps on them, and then jumping into hards and running hards for the entire event, for the rest of the event, basically.
I'm not very good with tyre compounds, but I'm not entirely sure if that would work. I'm not entirely sure how many laps the hards actually go for.
Here we go.
Just about to kick off here.
And it's lights out, and we're underway here at Abu Dhabi, and one of the Rocket Williams cars did not get going whatsoever farther back.
Where did the front goes to go?
And that's Boothie in the back, who seems to already have an issue, and that's Fratters, who has damaged the car. He's back underway, and XRL Snake is already out as well. You can see on the right side of the screen, the car is absolutely destroyed, and we're already under a virtual safety car here.
You know what that means. Rem's already wrapped up the title now. Snake's gone. Oh, that's
so twice at the very end of qualifying, and then again at the start of the race, when the pressure gets hard, we see sometimes the machine are not able to take the pressure. Sometimes it's not even the driver. Sometimes it's the machine. So I did not see what happened to XRL Snake to cause him to get knocked out, but his race and his continued fight for the title ended not even 2 corners into the event here at Yas.
Oh, he's going to be so annoyed about that.
So I'm trying to keep a look at both Boothie and Fratter's car. I'm trying to see if there's any damage on either of those vehicles. Both of them seem to be a lot slower, and Fratters was actually knocked against the inside wall on the exit of turn 1. So I'm curious to see.
Damaged left wing. Both the you can at least see fine. I don't see any damage to his wing at all. No, he has no wing damage, but Fraz has lost an end plate. Oh, someone else has just lost their... He's just lost their...
And that's... I think XRL Whippy just went right off circuit in the very back there.
Yeah,
oh, Whippy and...
Stumpy's got wing damage. His end plate, he looks like.
So Fratters is going to stay out though, despite not having an in play. He's going to stay out and try to wrestle that car forward. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, all three Mercedes engines are represented. 1, 2, 3. You got the factory Williams in first. You got the Racing Point Force India in second, and then you have the Williams in third, followed by another factory, and then another Racing Point, and then it's a Renault who's in sixth. It's just the wrong Renault. It's not the one that can fight for a championship. So now it's up to Rat's Cats to try and give some redemption to Renault. Now here's the other question. When it comes to the manufacturer's title, what does Rat's Cats have to do here to make up for Snake being knocked out, so that way they can wrap up the title here today for the manufacturers?
I reckon they just have to come in the top 10 maybe. From what I've seen, it looks like Renault's really far ahead to be able to wrap up that title for the constructors. I reckon he has to maybe be in. I never really asked him.
I'll have to take a look at the points if I get a moment here. But it's a Mercedes engine train, 1 through 5 at the front. With the one car that did not get going off the line, that's Gazilio, he's one of the drivers who went with the medium compound tires at the start.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, and Gazilio's around! Gazilio just totaled his car! He spun coming out of the final bit of the S's and completely nosed into the barrier and it destroyed the car. And we were riding right on board when it happened, folks. Absolutely travesty. And it looks like the medium compound strategy for him isn't even going to be a factor. Our second knockout of the day in 2 laps, and he's dangerously close to the racing line.
Oh, that's not good. That's 2 people gone. This track is deadly with the curbs on here.
So we're back under the virtual safety car here at Abu Dhabi. It's a completely different scenario than what we saw at Brazil. At Brazil, it just was drivers being extremely aggressive, trying to make everything work. Here, everyone's just trying to keep their cars alive. Also, Fratters, he's moved to the hard compounds, so a little bit of interesting strategy.
I've just noticed that Retro Bricks has lost an end plate on the left. So he must
Is he? I can't tell. I'm hoping the camera changes soon so I can get a better angle. I'm curious if there's more wing damage than just the end plate. Yeah, I see the end plate missing. The rest of the wing looks fine.
I reckon it's probably just maybe a light green damage that's probably came up. He's seen it and thought, I don't need it. But we've got a Haas. Got fastest cargo and Jaleb currently running at each other.
Yes, Fiend fell through. Yes, Fiend has lost his front wing completely. There is no front wing on ES Fiend's Mercedes. He has dropped out of the top 5 as the other factory Mercedes, the one who's not leading, has now fallen down to the 10th position, and that's going to be a very, very rough ride back to the line. I did not see what happened. I was actually trying to focus on Allen, but that car is not going to be very happy. He's going to have to come in to replace that thing. And Rat's Cats just slowly climbs up as the Mercedes engine cars drops out in front of him.
Fastest cargo's lost an end plate as well as there was a slight contact from the looks of it.
I have a feeling that this track is more of a fan of the 1960s era of Formula One, when you didn't have wings, considering how abrasive it has been with them.
How is Hayden driving with no wing? Oh my god.
He's making it work.
Yeah.
He's definitely struggling. I'm looking online that the steering wheel's all over the place.
Yeah, he's having to slow right down to get around the corners.
So Fiend will finally come in. Now, farther up at the front, Allen's actually opened up a nice little gap despite being on harder compound tires. It's Osmo fighting Hakkinen for that second spot right now. Or more like stalk. It's not really an outright fight yet. Hakkinen's just kind of stalking Osmo at the moment. And ES Fiend is also going to go ahead and jump onto the hard compounds for the rest of the event, I imagine. A little bit of a Truly train has opened up behind XRL Rim. Rim doesn't seem to be fast enough to keep up with the drivers in front of him, and now Razzcats is going to make a move. Razzcats on the outside, and it's going to be tight, but he made it stick. So Razzcats now moves up into the 4th position, and now DK Phantom is there, and he wants to follow up. He's on the inside trying to make something work. He's in the slipstream of Razzcats. He's right there. There's 3 cars. Oh, the blanket can be thrown over them. And going through the second ending, and there's a little bit of contact, and Razzcats nearly gets knocked into Phantom. So Rem ends up back in front, but he definitely does not seem to have the pace of the top 3 right now, and it's leading to a little battle for 4th through 6th. Well, I say that, but Razzcats and Phantom got into it just enough that it seems like they've dropped off the back for a little bit. And now here comes the Haas, the fastest cargo, and despite missing an end plate,
try through it.
So the Haas team right off the bat, well, I shouldn't say right off the bat, we're 5 laps in, but the Haas team struggling early on, and now struggling with the penalty as well.
Cargo,
and what happened to
missed his turn.
fastest cargo?
He
Fastest
missed
cargo,
it. I think
missed
he
turn.
came wrong too quick.
Yeah. So here we are, everyone's jumping in to try and swap to a different tire compound. XRL Rim, he's going to transition to mediums.
The wall pit.
Enough Classic is going to transition to mediums. I think everyone here is transitioning to the mediums at this point. And again, Allen started on the mediums, so he has a massive gap now between himself and second. 23 seconds at least, and it will probably increase.
Jonomatic said,
ES Fiend.
XRL Ram has officially won the X3 Championship. He doesn't even need to finish the race. Congrats, Ryan.
Alright, so your Driver's Championship is locked up. And this driver we're following right now, XRL Rim, is your X3 champion. So congratulations. A lot of hard work and a little bit of fortune goes a long ways here. So I do want to point out ES Fiend did not have to pit. He's already made his stop earlier to swap over to the hards. So the tire's already warmed up. He might be able to make something work against Ballistic up ahead of him.
John Mack said if Razzcats wins and Red Bull don't score a point, the title race is still on.
Alright, so Razzcats is going to need a victory, and it will still, the title race for the drivers, the team championship will still be on. So Razzcats has a lot of heavy lifting to do here today. Not doing a terrible job. He's currently in the 4th position as we're back under a virtual safety car here.
I have been told that Razzcats he's a very quick driver. He does have pace. Yeah, Elite Hackman's gone into AI from the looks of it. He's back out like the minute.
So we're under full course yellow safety car. The entire field tries to gather up. Allen has older mediums on. He started on it. So sadly, this yellow is actually going to hurt Allen's ability. He will have to change tires at some point. And when he does, It's going to be earlier than everyone else. I'm kind of a rough position for him.
Lazy excuse,
He might be able to make
child screaming. She's only 11 months old, so she's having a field day currently and screaming.
I will go ahead and point something out. So one driver who is really bucking the trend, not going to harder compounds at all, Retro Rixie in 14th is now on the soft compound actually. I'm more than a little bit curious as to what his plan is going to be.
See, I seen somebody, a couple of people do that the other day, and they had to pit out 4 times because they kept using soft tyres. I think they said it went soft, medium, soft, because the soft compound really doesn't last that long on this track specifically, because it's not in the desert, so there's a lot of heat.
Well, I think it will help a bit that we are under extended yellow, so there's not going to be as much tire wear put on. He might be able to squeak out a few extra laps. It will be borderline, but he might be going for soft, and then a medium to the very end. Those mediums would be in a very bad condition, though.
I went soft, medium, and my mediums, the first set of mediums were perfectly fine, but my second set started struggling once it got to about 40%. So I was a bit curious about what he's going to try and do.
Meanwhile, we look very briefly at our Red Bulls. Right now, neither Red Bull is in a point-scoring position. In-City Rudis is 12th, and Boothie is 15th. Boothie trying to put a disastrous qualifying run behind him. Right now, not green yet. We're still waiting for Fratters to catch up to the back of the field. Fratters is about 22 seconds off the back of the lead group. So,
come on, Fratters.
Well, the Mercedes engine train at the front has slowly gone away from being a 6-car train at the front to just a 3-car. And it's Radscats who's there in 4th. Might be able to make something happen. And the big thing is, Alan, all of them are on mediums. The first driver who's not on medium is actually on a hard compound, that's 10th. The thing is, Alan, who's leading the field, is on heavier worn medium tires. He's been on those since the very start of the event. So
I did have a very good
Alan's
gap
gonna have
for the pitting.
Yeah, I'd have to hope that Alan can open up another nice little gap so that way when those tires fall off, he can just force extend those just a little bit so he's not as much of an advantage when it comes to lap time counts regarding tire swap. But Fratters has appeared to have finally caught the very back of the field here on the first of the 2 long back straightaways. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us today, we are under extended safety car, although the lights are off and the safety car will come in this lap. It was Mercedes engines locking out the top 6 spots, but that's all kind of falling apart. Gazilio knocked himself out with a massive incident. Fratters took some damage. Also, when it came to the title for X3, I don't want to spoil it for you, but you can see it on the board. XRL Snake, who was fighting with XRM for the title, Snake got knocked out. He got knocked out before he even got into the second corner of the event. So with that in mind, XRL Rim is going to be, and is officially, your XRL X3 champion. The big question right now is what can Radscats do to help get Renault locking up that Constructors Championship, or Team Championship, before we head to the next event at France. Right now, we're being told that he needs to win, and neither Red Bull needs to score points. And even still, it would still be a fight going on for the next event. Radscats is the highest non-Mercedes engine, right in the 4th position. So it looks like we're going to go underway here at Abu Dhabi.
Pack the pack a bit much down. But safety car in.
And that's DK Phantom, who runs extremely wide going through turn number 1. I think he's going to lose several positions there. So Rim moves back into the 5th spot for the moment. Another yellow flag in sector 2 already.
That's ES Fiend. Just seeing him switch a couple places down.
Fiend's on the hard compound, did not seem to work out for him. I'm looking to see if there's anything wrong with that car, or if he just got caught out. Yes! Fiend is missing not half the wing, but he's missing one of the end plates, and I think there's a lot of damage, actually, to the wing on the right front.
He's practically got no front left wing. He's got quite a lot of his wing missing there.
Meanwhile, I'm Blake till I die finally falls behind Fratter. Fratter starts making up positions, and Asmo has suddenly started dropping spots. Asmo's been caught up. He made contact there with GK Phantom. So Asmo is going to drop all the way back to 6. Ratscats now goes up into the 3rd position as Renault is taking down the train, and there's more contact with Phantom and Asmo. Both of them run wide, and I imagine Phantom will have to give over that position, but
Alan and Elite then.
Phantom off again! I'm amazed that car's together. He comes down and makes more contact now. He's made contact with at least 5 different cars, I swear.
Yeah, he just looked like an absolute pinata at that minute then. He's just got hit by a fair amount of cars. Has he still got his wing? Yeah, he still
has his wing somehow. Yeah, I'm shocked because he made a lot of contact with a lot of different guys. And Brutus is now dropping down. I think Brutus is spun. That front end, the front end of Brutus' car, I think, is damaged. It doesn't look right from the onboard. Or I might be wrong. Maybe.
Yeah,
no, it's fine. Okay. Yep. Don't mind me.
It's a real pain trying to find out if they've got front wings or not still because camera angle just don't. I see that Elite Hacking is looking and then play it from his front right wing.
And don't look now, boys. The Mercedes dominance that we had at the end of qualifying, at the very start of this race, may be coming to an end soon. Ratscats is dragging the Renault right up there to a fight with XX Allen. And a reminder, there's a 5-lap difference in tire wear. Now, Allen does have a little bit of help. Another Mercedes engine car is fighting him. That's XRL Rim. He's actually going to go around the outside in these technical quarters. So Ratscat's going to fall back down to 3rd for the moment. But Allen does not seem to be pulling away quite as much as he was earlier in the event here.
Oh, what's going on with Retro? Oh, Retro and Stumpy were fighting out them. Until they took the corner a bit wide. Oh! He nearly lost his car.
Fastest Cargo and Blastic are both coming in. I'm trying to see if Fastest Cargo has damage because he's on the hard tire, so I don't imagine he'd be pitting for that.
No.
No, I guess maybe he just...
Yeah. The way it works...
Oh, is this a drive-through?
Possibly, but I don't know if you've got wing damage and you've gone to the pits to still change your tyres regardless, but he's not got any...
Oh, and In-City Rudis has spun out there, coming out of the S's.
I think he was serving his drive-through from the looks of it, because he's still got the same tyres on as he did.
And there's a fight for the lead. XRL Rim lost the top spot, and Ratscats had to go wide, invasive maneuvers to avoid the battle that was going on right in front of him. So now the Renault falls back to 4th, and it's a Force India of Rim and Osmo versus the Mercedes of Allen, and Allen is back in the front with a lot more warm tires, but he's having a lot of trouble keeping on the track.
Yeah, Allen's he's going to have to get off on tyres, maybe never next lap. Yep,
here he is. He's coming in now.
We currently have
so XRL Rim, your champion for this season, is now leading our event. And there's a massive little scrap going on here for about 5th position. 4 cars, all with the, you could basically throw a blanket over them. Williams, Ferrari, Sauber, Toro Rosso. Yeah. Boothie, we're now getting word, was going to have to serve a 3-second time penalty, according to the ticker on the bottom. Here we are, down the back straightaway. Toro Rosso has DRS on the Renault, but the Renault also has DRS as well. So maximum speed, hard under braking. And we saw that Classic was actually gaining time, and that might have been it. Yes, he's around. There's a little bit of contact, he's around, but now he's going to be swamped by 2 Renaults going down the second straightaway. And there's another battle as GK Phantom is fighting with Elite Hakkinen just a little bit up the road. And here we go, the 95 made contact with that Toro Rosso Classic, and Classic's going to cut back down. So Whippy now moves up into the 6th spot. Boothie here right in the 9th position. Oh, and there's a massive crash! And the Salvers! XR Whippy is done for! We'll see here as we're following Blastic, we will see those cars absolutely destroyed of Enough Classic and XRL Whippy as they both had a massive accident coming out of the 3rd to last corner. You can see, oh no, and Blastic has hit the damaged car of XRL! And Matt's gonna destroy that car! So it just continued to somersault. 4 different cars involved there. Classic is destroyed. Whippy is destroyed. Rudis is gonna come through. The cars have finally been cleared off. But Classic and Whippy were having a massive battle and it destroyed their cars. And then Blastic has to come in a pit because he runs to the back of the ruined car of XR Whippy and destroyed the front wing of that machine. So XRL Rim, our leader, now sees the yellow flag deploy once again as the safety car comes out. And it looked like, I did not see the start, but if I had to guess, Enough Classic and XRL Whippy were in a nice little tight battle, and Whippy hit the wall in the same way that Boothie did in Q3, and he did it and bounced right out in front of Classic, and it just ruined both of their cars. And basically caused a little shower of debris all over. I think there was at least, I think the other Sauber was also involved, and that would be the Sauber of, I'm trying to find it right now. XRL J-Lab. Yes, you can see XRL J-Lab. Let's see, is there any damage on that car? It's kind of hard to tell because the front wing's all black. I don't think I see any damage on that car. It looked like the car was sideways at least after the initial incident. He might have also been able to come back in and already get the damage repaired. It did happen just basically a turn and a half before you enter pit lane. So I think J-Lab would have already possibly fixed damage. And here's Blastic, who we did see missing about half of his front wing. And I'm honestly shocked that the damage didn't end up affecting the suspension of that car, as we've had a massive accident here. Fratters has come in to the pits. They're going ahead and swapping over to more yellows. Now Ratscats has caught back up to Rim here. Asmo has gone ahead and made a stop. So once again, we are under our 2nd full course yellow here, as this track continues to be very, very aggressive with knocking out cars. I think in general this track does not like front wings. We've seen a lot of end plates damaged and ripped off. We've seen half of wings, and in a few cases entire front wings gone. So Ratscats is there. second. But the big thing is that Boothie, who is one of the Red Bulls that is also trying to fight for manufacturer's points, is still in the race. He's up in there in 4th position. Now it's very, very heavily worn medium compound tires, but he's there. If something happens at the front, he might be able to make something happen. Also, DK Phantom has dragged the Ferrari up into the 3rd spot. So now, all 4 Indian manufacturers, Mercedes, Renault, Ferrari, and Honda, have representation at the top 4. There's no more outright Mercedes dominance. There is a Mercedes that has officially led every lap thus far, but it's not even close to Mercedes engines holding the top 6 spots, as we saw in the initial start of the event. We will go another lap because the entire field still has yet to gather up properly. One of the things is because this is a track with a lot of slower technical corners, the delta differential between a full pace lap and a lap under yellow flag isn't that massive, so it just takes you a lot longer for the guys in the back, like Incity Rudis and Ballistic and XRL Jaleb, to actually catch up to the back of the field. Stumpy Steam has actually gone ahead and made a stop. He's swapped over to the medium compound tires. And he will come out behind XRL Jaleb here. Ballistic and In-City Rudis still have yet to catch up to the back of the field, as our leaders are now entering the first long back straightaway. Ballistic and Rudis are going to rush rapidly catch up. I think they'll probably have them here on the straight. Yep, they'll have him here. So I imagine we'll probably see the safety car come in on this lap.
What happened to Classic and Whippy? What did I miss?
There was a massive battle. There was a massive battle going on between Classic, Whippy, and Jaleb. And all 3 of them were all on top of each other. And the same thing that happened to Boothie in Q3, I believe, happened to Whippy. What I saw, because I did not see the initial start, but Whippy nosed it into the wall, exiting the 3rd to last corner. Classic got right into him, destroyed both of their cars, and it just showered debris everywhere, totaled their cars. I believe Stumpy Steam not Stumpy Steam, but I think Jaleb may have taken some wing damage from it. Ballistic came in late and ended up running right into the back of Classic's car at full speed, which absolutely destroyed his front wing, so he had to come into pit. And then In-City Rudis had an issue of his own, separate from that, but they finally have all gathered up, and they will be coming green shortly here. But it was an absolutely massive instant that happened here, and it was just because it was right after a blind corner. There was really nowhere for anyone to go, especially considering that Classic and Whippy's cars basically had covered the entire track, and there was debris in the little path that was in between them.
Oh, wow.
So now the question is, can Ratscats do anything to Rim? There are no other Mercedes engines cars to fight with right at the start here. Oh, and Rim actually gets a little bit sideways in the second to last corner as they're coming down to take the green flag here. And we are underway once again at Abu Dhabi. And Rim gets a nice run going down into turn number 1. A little bit farther back, a hard versus medium versus soft compound battle is underway here.
Yeah, I can see that the first
Cargo's trying to come up.
Hot 4's on their 1 tyres. I'm surprised both these are.
And that's Boothie! Boothie is around again! That's the second time third time actually we've seen that car go around. He's back on the way, but that went very fast for him. And now here comes our pole sitter, XXL. He's on significantly fresher soft tires. He's gonna try and see if he can do anything to the top 3. And Ratscats is there about 7/10 off from the back of Rim as well. If he can put a good lap together, he'll have DRS when they come to the straights next time.
Oh, that just seen what happened then. That wasn't good.
Boothie had gotten all the way up into the 4th position, and now both of the Red Bulls are out of point scoring contention. You know, despite the fact that Snake isn't even going to complete 2 corners, Ratscats may have everything falling in place for him to bring home a good haul of points, especially in relation to the 2 Red Bulls here. Runs a little bit wide that time, though.
Yeah, he went a little bit wide down. Both he's really pushing the medium tyres. Don't know how he's making them tyres last so long.
I mean, he wasn't doing it very well considering we saw him spin out of 5th position. Fastest lap now goes to XX Allen here.
Oh, somebody else spun off. Yeah, this is just spun off track.
Ballistic is coming to the pits, as has Fastest Cargo. So XRL J-Lab will pick up those positions. Here's ES Fiend in the other factory Mercedes. He's a little bit behind Retro. I don't think he's close enough to get DRS advantage though. A little bit farther up, there is a little spat going on from about 6th up to 3rd. As TK Phantom and XX Allen are having a little spat, and Asmo is right there ready to capitalize. Here we are, coming out of the 2nd lawn straightaway. They're side by side.
Yeah, see,
and it
Asmo,
looks like Asmo.
fighting.
Yeah, Asmo's gotten around Phantom for the moment, and that's going to enable Allen to get a little bit farther away from the mid. Now again, Allen's on fresher tires and softs, but the problem is softs at 5 laps might be equal to mediums at 11, because it doesn't look like Allen's running down the leaders like he was at the initial start.
There's XRL Rem is just pitted. Oh no, he hasn't. It looked like he pitted Dan.
No, he's still out there. Roughly a 2nd gap between himself and Ratscats, and we have another yellow flag. And J-Lab has destroyed the car! J-Lab has destroyed the car in the same way that Boothby did. And we saw earlier, that corner, that 3rd to last corner, continues to be a massive issue today. I only was able to see it for a brief second. I didn't see the impact itself. But that car is completely ruined. The nose seemed to be stuck under the tire barrier. I hope when Rudis comes... No, the car's already gone, so we won't get another shot of it, sadly. But,
oh, no.
Yeah.
GG lap. GG. So far, we have lost 5 drivers.
Yeah, we're on pace to lose a similar number of drivers to what we did last week at Brazil. This time, it's not really drivers being hyper-aggressive. It's just the car seems to be getting away from them. Ratscats is back to just being 7/10 behind Rim, but can he actually make anything happen? XRL Rim, I'm getting the race control man at the bottom is saying XRL Rim has a 3-second time penalty.
And it's his very first one as well. He only got 2 warnings initially.
Ooh, and Ratscats almost gets sideways and almost, didn't actually do it, but almost spun right in front of XX Allen. He's pushing that car to try and catch Rim, but that might open him up to attack from Allen here.
Ooh. Allen
Down to the start-finish line straight.
The back of his car.
Rim has pitted.
Ratscats will definitely be struggling on those tyres. Saying that, Buffy's on
I think
60
Allen would be
laps.
also.
Yeah, Allen would
Yeah,
be
but Boothy's pitting right now. I think both of our top 2 drivers are going to be struggling. They'll probably both have to consider pitting here.
BK Fabio's currently pushing his medium car to some slide a bit, and that's the main problem. You start having the mediums when you start reaching over 11 laps.
Yeah, he slid coming on. Yeah. Ratscats has lost the lead to Allen, actually. Allen got him. He nipped him at the end of the straightaway. Yes, I flipped away also. That's a shame. Hate missing that. So it seems like Allen's dragging those soft tires a little bit farther than Ratscats is driving those mediums. Now, he's got DRS on the straight, but it's not going to be enough to make anything happen. So Allen, and what happened to Asmo? Just seemed to pop out of nowhere. It looked like he made a lunge and the car got away from him. And he ended up side by side with Ratscats, but with Asmo off the racing line.
Yeah, just seeing Asmo's nose just come in, and I thought, where's that come from? Ooh, Ratscats. Oh,
Yeah, it looks like that Renault's starting to get away from him. He's gonna have to pit this lap. That I don't know how much longer he wants to make that thing stay out. Our leader has come in, and Rascats will come in also. So now it's Asmo who will go ahead and inherit the top spot. A game where the XX Allen has a 5-second penalty from race control. I'll be interested to see how that turns out. And Retro is having a nice little spat here with ES Fiend. Fiend's gonna just get by him. So now it seems like the Mercedes dominance is starting to fall back into place. And here we are with 8 laps to go. These will be the final pit stops of the day. XX Allen has swapped to the red soft-walled compounds again. So it'll be very interesting to see what he can do with them. Rim is on mediums. And
I reckon
so I'll be interested to see.
At a push,
They'll be
got 8 laps to go.
They'll be hurting like hell in those final 2 laps, I'll say that. I mean, he did make the softs earlier, last about 6-7 laps and was competitive with them, but 8 laps might be a little much. I'll be interested to see what he can do with that. At the front, Asmo. He's on mediums. I imagine he'll probably try and run these mediums to the end. They'll be hurting a bit, but he will probably try and run them to the edge, or he'll come in with this, like a handful of laps to go and dump into softs. The big one, though, is ES Fiend right there in the 4th position. He's fallen back behind Retro. He has 10 laps in those medium compounds. Again, Allen, it flashes up that he has a 3-second time penalty. The big thing, though, is that Ratscats is back on mediums. He'll probably be able to make the mediums last to the end, but he's buried in the 10th position. I don't think Rats is going to be able to get to the top. It will help that it doesn't look like either of the Red Bulls will end up scoring points. But at the same time, it's just, he needed to score more points if he really wanted to put the Renault team in a good position going in. XRL Rim now has the fastest time with a 140.096. Fastest lap time for Rim.
Alan's currently behind Rem looking at the back of his car. Wondering whether to take him overtake.
Ooh!
Oh,
that was aggressive by Alan. I don't even think I would make that move.
I've had a couple
and here he is. He's in the back of a 4-car trade. They all have DRS on each other. Well, I don't think Fratters does. So Stumpy Steam on the outside. Here comes XRL Rim. He wants to make something happen. Oh! And he made contact! And that's contact again! And that's Rim is going to struggle real badly. Not Rim. Fratter is going to struggle real badly there. And that's actually going to damage the front wing of that car. So Fratters is back in a position where he does not have a front wing altogether. I don't see too much damage to Stumpy Steam. And now here comes Rim and Alan. They're in a little fight. And now Alan ended up getting pushed a little wide by Rim. He's going to lose that position back to Stumpy Steam again. Alan does not have time for this. He has those red tires. He needs to make these moves and make them fast. And we're getting where the fastest cargo now has a 3-second time penalty as well.
Stumpy's lost it.
Fratters does. I think that's it.
Yeah, Fratters has got quite a bit of damage left and he's currently pitting for a new one.
Alan has dragged that thing back into the 6th position, and now... Oh, he wrecked! He wrecked! Alan has just overpushed the tires and totaled the car completely! And that's going to be another yellow flag! As Alan is going to drop out of the event, the car got a little bit too aggressive on the throttle, it stepped out on him, and the car was absolutely destroyed. Like I said earlier, we're well on track to having another situation like we did at Brazil, where a lot of drivers are dropped out of the event. This time it's just drivers being too aggressive on a track that just does not seem to be working out very well for them. Meanwhile, at the front, XRL Asmo has a 4-second gap over second place Elite Hakkinen. And then another 3 seconds between Hakkinen and Retro. ES Fiend is there in 4th position. He's in the other factory Mercedes ride. He's trying to drag those mediums as far as he can. I imagine Fiend is considering pitting in the last few laps to jump onto softs, but he'll be putting himself in the exact same position that Allen put himself in.
I would say a bit for softs, but I kind of... Oh, he is pitting for softs, because he knows his softs can go probably them 8 laps.
At this point, it's closer to like 5 laps, 5 or 6 laps. He could definitely make it work. It's just he would be putting himself in the exact same position that Allen did, trying to push really hard with softs. And we saw what happened with Allen. He told the car just pushing a little too hard. I think these drivers are overestimating what the soft tire compound can do.
You just have to be really extra careful when it comes to extremely long tires. The Retro Rixie and the Liter running on 10 lap tires at the minute. Whether they're going to pit for softs, I'm not entirely sure. Faster Cargo's running on 17 lap hards. I wonder if he's going to take them to the end.
He's about 30 seconds out, so if he can, he might be able to make up a handful of spots on the drivers ahead of him. As there is a little bit of a battle right now, as GK Phantom has gotten by his Ferrari teammate, Stumpy Steam, so the Ferrari is running 6th and 7th at the moment as they enter the 2nd straightaway here. But I think the big winner in all this is shaping up to be XRL Rim and to a lesser extent Rats Cats. They have mediums that have a lot less wear. They can probably drag them to the end of the event. Unless one of the top 3 really think they can stretch another 5 laps out on their worn mediums, I think this is going to be a fight between Rim and Rats Cats for the win here.
The first 3 aren't planning on pitting just yet. This track's a bit tricky when it comes to tyres too.
ES Fiend is still on those reds. He'll complete his first lap. He's trying to run down I'm Blake Till I Die, who's on mediums that have 11 laps on them. So once he catches them, I think Blake's only really going to be able to defend by trying to pinch Fiend into tight corners and stuff. Because the difference between 11 lap mediums and 1 lap stops are going to be massive.
I feel quite bad for Alan because he's won, from what I've seen, he's won the last 2 races. And then this one he's DNF'd.
Rats Cats is fighting. Rats Cats is right underneath the rear wing of Rim. This could turn into the battle for a lead if our top 3 pit. Running down the 2nd straightaway. He's got DRS. He looks to the outside. And the car is ahead. So the Renault is going to get in front of XRL Rim. There are still 3 cars ahead though, and he needs to try and get a little bit of a distance between himself and Rim if he wants to have a shot at winning. He also needs to not make mistakes, obviously. We've seen so many times in these clutch moments or in these high-pressure moments, drivers have made little mistakes, particularly in this corner that we see Rats Cats entering right now.
Yeah, the first 3 still aren't pitting. So this will be a tight one. Is whether the first 3 can get themselves on the track.
I think Retro, Hakkinen, and Asmo are going to try and drag those medium tires to the end here. We see in 14th position, Blastic has run 14 laps on his mediums. But he's not in the lead. He doesn't have the stress to be in the lead. I'm not 100% sure. It's going to be 3 laps. I'll say this. If the top 3 pit, they're going to be in a horrible, horrible position. Because even if they throw the softs on, they're only going to have about 2 laps or so, 2-3 laps to really maximize them. They'll be qualifying laps in pace if they didn't have drivers in front of them, but they'll have to get around other people. It's just, I don't see it working. And Fastest Cargo has now gone ahead and pitted. He lasted 19 laps on those hard compound tires.
Yeah, I was just wondering why is he pitting when there's only 3 laps left.
He's jumping onto the softs. He is jumping onto the softs, and I would basically do that at the same time also. If it was 5 laps to go, yeah, I could see jumping in, but we're looking at 3.5 laps to go. I'm not 100% sure it's a good idea. Meanwhile, 4th and 5th goes on. Razzcats runs a little bit wide, but he's starting to open up a little bit of a gap against XRL Rim. Razzcats is desperately hoping that the 3 guys in front of him all decide to make stops. Here comes Asmo. He's staying out another lap. Here comes Hakkinen as well. He also will stay out another lap. And Retro, who had a horrible, horrible run, didn't even make it at Q1. He as well will stay out another lap.
Yeah, he's also staying out. Wow. The fact these guys can push these tires past their limit. GG on all of you.
Here's the other thing though, all 3 of these drivers might be hoping and betting that the other one or other 2 end up having an accident and forcing a yellow, because if it forces a yellow, we'd have a safety car finish to the end and they would wrap up an easy, I don't want to say easy, it's not easy nursing these worn tires, but they would have a easier victory in that case. They might be betting on that.
How many safety cars have we had at the minute? If it's 3, then...
I think 3. Yeah, I think we've had 3.
There's only 3. You can only have up to 3, and then all after that is virtual safety cars.
Oh, well.
There's no more safety cars after this.
Oh, okay, well.
So hopefully these front 3 runners can keep the car on the track.
Razzcats is actually starting to catch up to Retro. He might be able to put on a little bit of a fight for a 3rd position. He's opened up a gap against Rim. It seems like those Renault, or at least the Renault of Razzcats, you can't really tell with Snake, because Snake didn't even make it 2 quarters. But the Renault of Razzcats has honestly been one of the fast, if not the fastest, looking car on the track, and he nearly spun it around. Oh, that got nice and twitchy. But he's still there, he's still 4th. But he's been really good with that car. It's just 1 Renault against 6 different Mercedes, and even though some of them have dropped, 3 of them have dropped out, and he's around! Razzcats pinned it! He ruined it! The car is destroyed! And there's a yellow flag! He wrecked it in the last corner! Yes, he hit the curb and it turned the car right around! And that's probably gonna be it for the event! I think that will be the race! And that also is going to put the Red Bull team in a great position, because with Razzcats dropping out, InCity and Boothie will both move up into the 9th and 10th positions. It's 2 laps to go, and it's crazy. The driver who was pushing on the mediums ended up overdoing it, and these guys who are pushing on well-worn medium tires, they're set up to win the race. The next Rim might, it's a super outside hit, but might fight with Retro. But unless they wreck, Asmo has this race won, and Elite Hakkinen has 2nd. This is honestly, this has been an absolute mess. It seems like every single time today that a driver gets put into a must-perform zone, no one has been able to make it work. Every time someone is put into a must-perform zone, they end up overtax their cars, overtax the track limits, overtax their tires, and end up ruining it. Asmo's coming out of the going to come out of the final corner here. Obviously, he's not pitting now. So Asmo's coming down. He will take the white flag. So 1 more lap here at Abu Dhabi Yas Marina in a very all over the place race. It seems like the comfortable, safe strategy has been the way to go. Now, obviously, you don't want to be too safe. The fastest cargo went a little bit too safe, trying to get too far on Warren Hart.
Oh, there goes Ballistic.
And Blastic is out! Blastic is out! I did not see what happened to him.
I didn't
but
see
Blastic,
it. I just seen his name go.
Yeah, so another driver out. There's only 12 cars left on the track. I think we only have 13. I think we have more drivers out now than we did last week at Brazil.
I think he actually finished because he was on 17 lap warm mediums.
Well, if that's the case, and the drivers in 2nd and 3rd, Hakkinen and Retro need to be really careful because they're on 15 lap mediums. Same with I'm Blake Till I Die, who's in 7th, who's also on 15 lap mediums. Asmo now enters Sector 3 for the final time today. He's got 4.2 seconds on second.
He has to be really careful.
A little bit of a battle between ES Fiend and GK Phantom for 5th. Fiend has the DRS, but it looks like it's too late. He's not going to be able to make it work. So here comes Asmo. Final 2 corners. Here's hoping he doesn't total it in the last corner. Here we go. XRL Asmo comes nice and smooth out of the final corner, pulls right up to the inside wall, and he will win here at Yas in a chaotic event. And Elite Hackett will take... Oh, Asmo had a time penalty! So Hackett wins! And Reto will take 3rd, and here comes Rim. He'll be coming down in 4th position. And now here comes the battle for 5th. It looks like GK Fam's going to hold off ES Fiend, so Ferrari's going to take home a 5th position in the end. No, Fiend actually is going to be ahead of him because I'm guessing Phantom had a time penalty. Here comes I'm Blake Till I Die. He will come home in 7th. Stumpy Seam is going to be ahead of Blake because Blake had a penalty. And now Rudist and Boothie did briefly get into the 4th and then spun it. But all things considered, they're going to come out as small little winners in the team championship because the Red Bulls will come home 9th and 10th. They will earn points while their Renault rivals not a single point. Despite the fact that they have 2 great drivers, neither of them will make it to the end. And now here comes Fastest Cargo back there. And Fratters has dropped out. And Fratters drops out at the last minute. So another DNF at the last moment. 11 drivers, only 11 drivers finished today's race. An absolute chaotic travesty. No one could make these cars stick when they had to push it. You look at these 3 drivers here. Look at all 3 of them. The Williams, the Force India Racing Point, and the McLaren. All 3 of them were drivers who did not put themselves in any really aggressive scenarios. They just were very, very calm, soothing, and it worked for them. This was not a race where you had to wrestle the car. This was a race where you needed to be careful. And not just that, even disregarding the 9 drivers who dropped out from crash damage, because no one dropped out from engine or anything else like that, or disconnected. 9 drivers out from crashes, and then you also have to add in that I think almost every driver, or nearly every driver, had wing damage at some point as well. And at this entire race was an absolute mess, to say the least. Crazy.
Yeah,
As honestly was.
They lost a lot of drivers.
Honestly, Fastest Cargo has to be feeling really, really frustrated because he finishes 11th. He's the only driver to finish and not get points. It's really frustrating. But just looking at the lineup here, also I just want to point out 4th place finishing driver XRL Rim, who is your champion. He shows why he's champion. He comes home 4th and is able to persevere at the end in a very, very chaotic event.
Yeah, it was like Red Bulls rolled up some more points for constructors, and the guy in last, outside the top 10, would have actually gained some points for fastest lap. But hey, it will never be a race if Rather's never binned it.
Oh. 9 DNFs. I'm still in shock that we had 9 dropouts. It's not like this is just a random free play lobby. Like, these guys have been doing this for several months, and some of them have been doing it for years in prior games. It's just the cars got away from them. Everyone seemed to be really aggressive with the curves and track limits, really aggressive with just pushing the cars, and kept getting away from them. I'm still in shock. I'm just shocked. Wow.
It is mad the way this is done, though.
Okay, time to set back and calm down. So once again, XRL Rim is your champion for XRL X3. So congratulations, he has the title locked up a race early before we go to France, which will be on a wet racetrack. I believe the fight for manufacturers will still go down to it. Red Bull only brings home, I believe, 3 points in the end. It's still 3 points more than what Renault did. But, yeah, so we will still have that to look forward to, along with one more title up in, one more trophy up in the air. But once again,
we'll see how it goes next week.
Yeah, but I think we should start preparing to wrap this up. So, Zombie, your opinion, looking back across qualifying and across the race itself, what do you think is the biggest takeaway we had here from Yas?
Most of the drivers been in it. It wouldn't be a race without people being in it. It definitely wouldn't be.
Yeah.
But yeah, they all did a really good job.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think binning it, I think in addition to binning it, I think it's tire wear. You made a lot of points about early on, and it really proved out in the race. You can't overestimate what these tires were doing. And if you were going to try and push the tires, you had to be really careful, real ginger with them. The top three was losing a lot of time to everyone fourth and back. The thing is, they didn't have to worry because as they were losing time, the drivers behind them were spinning out and ruining their races. I think this being cognizant of what the tires actually could do. You can overdrive a car. That can happen. You can look at legends like Gilles Villeneuve and say, oh yeah, he's overdriving a car. You can't overdrive tires, especially not here. If the rubber is simply not on the wheel, you're not going to be able to make it work. I think that's the biggest thing to take away from this here. But I want to say, Zombie, absolutely enjoyed being able to share the booth with you here today. Nice, grounded voice of reason when I'm out here losing my bloody mind with all the developments coming faster than I can shake a stick at.
I'm really quiet because obviously I'm still new to the whole comms thing, so I don't really know what to say most of the time. So I just kind of sit in silence.
Yeah. Once again, I want to thank you very much for... I want to thank you for being here with me, and thank you and the XRL in general for letting me come on and do this broadcasting. I think it's about time we start wrapping this broadcast up. So next week, series finale for XRL X3, and we'll be going to France. I've been St. Lear 13 broadcasting for XRL, and I've been joined today by XRL Zombie.
I'll see you all later.
Yep. Farewell.